Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of One Man Huddle. I'm your host Jason, and today we're going to be talking about Thursday night football that just happened last night, and we're also going to be talking about Sunday and Monday games for this upcoming week. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Talk about Thursday night football. We had the Texans beating the Bills 23-19. Proved me wrong on my episode Wednesday, or I said the Bills would win this game. Josh Allen did not look great. No touchdowns and two picks to go with another fumble by Khalil Shakir. So three turnovers compared to the Texans zero. The Texans defense just absolutely destroyed Josh Allen all night. 8 sacks. He was picked off twice, like I said a minute ago. And it just showed why they're one of the league's best defenses, if not the league's best defense. And that's coming from a Denver fan. If you can see I pointed to the wrong side, in the background right there, I'm a Broncos fan. And I give the Texans major props on their defense. The turnovers proved fatal. They outgained the Texans in total yards by like over 100 yards, I think, and still wound up losing this game by 4 points. James Cook once again delivered 17 carries, 116 yards, and a touchdown. I think he had 3 catches for like 15, 16 yards, something like that as well to go with it. Davis Mills looks really comfortable in Texas offense so far since he's taken over for CJ Stroud. And I've seen several people online say, hey, maybe this is what they stick with. If they keep winning, they can make a run for the playoffs here at the end of the season. They're sitting right outside of the wild card right now. So we'll see where they go from here. It'll be interesting to see if they actually do bring CJ Stroud back in. I assume they will, but that's why I'm not a GM or a coach or anything like that. So, what do you say we go ahead and get into these Sunday games? The first one on the docket is the Steelers versus the Bears. Both defenses rank in the bottom 6 in total yards allowed so far this season. They've both been really bad, which is kind of surprising, especially for the Steelers. They were projected to be one of the best defenses in the league coming into this season. The Bears, they may be bottom 6 in yards per game, but they know how to get takeaways. They've got Byard, Wright, and Edmonds have combined for 13 interceptions this season, which is by far the most by one team. The Steelers are the epitome of inconsistency depending on if the defense goes against anybody who's good. And the Bears' offense has looked pretty good recently. So we'll see what happens in this game. I'm going to go with the Bears on this one. I'm worried about Aaron Rodgers with his wrist injury. I know it's not on his throwing hand, but you have to think he's going to be scared to get hit. And he may force some throws that are not there. And if that's the case, obviously, as I just said, the Bears know how to take the ball away. We'll see what happens. The next game, Patriots versus Bengals. Drake May has looked like an MVP this season. I fully expect it to continue against the league's worst defense. I mean, or one of the worst defenses. So however you want to put it, Travion Henderson is going to eat during this game. He is going to have a fantastic game if I had to guess. The Bengals offense, though, has looked a little bit better. Joe Flacco has brought a spark back into this team after taking over for Jake Browning. But Jamar Chase is out on that one-game suspension this week for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. So T. Higgins is going to be getting a lot of looks when they're passing the ball. And if the Steelers are smart and they may throw an extra guy over to help cover T. Higgins, if that's the case, I don't know what the Bengals are going to do because Chase Brown has not looked great this season. And if they can't get the ball to T. Higgins, with Jamar Chase being out, they may be in trouble. I will say, this is the Patriots' probably toughest test so far this season as far as what offense they're playing against. We'll see if they have any holes to fill before they make a run at the playoffs here at the end of the season. Obviously, it looks like they're going to at least make a wild card spot in the playoffs. More than likely win the division, considering the Bills just lost last night. That puts them even further back. So the Patriots have a little bit of room to, if they drop a game or two, it's not going to cost them the division at this point. So we'll see what they can do against this offense. Giants versus Lions. This game could get ugly really, really fast. The Lions are the only team in the league so far this season to be ranked top 5 in both total offense and total defense. The Giants defense, they're in trouble, man. They got to stop the 1-2 punch, Sonic and Knuckles of Gibbs and Montgomery in the backfield, and you have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams running routes that you have to cover. I mean, it kind of feels like an impossible task at this point for any defense except for, I would say, the league's top 3 or 4 defenses. The Giants' offense has looked less than inspiring for the past month. I know that that's because Scadaboo had that horrible injury. He's out for the rest of the year, obviously. Huge blow. Loved watching him play. And then Jackson Dart is still questionable. He's still in concussion protocol. So we'll see if he actually plays this week or if it'll be Jameis Winston getting another start. The Lions are still dealing with some injuries in the secondary, though. They've got, I think, three starters on their secondary who are listed as questionable, but as far as I can tell, they're trending towards playing this week. And if that's the case, then the Giants are going to have a little bit of trouble moving the ball down the field, if I had to guess. So my pick this week is the Lions to get the win, to stay competitive in the division with the Bears and the Packers. And speaking of the Packers, we'll move on to the next game. Vikings versus the Packers. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm going with the Packers. JJ McCarthy has not looked great most of this season when he's played. I know obviously he hasn't played every game this season, but he is coming off of a horrible game last week against the Bears, who do lead their division. Divisional matchups, obviously, as we know, they're always tougher. It doesn't matter what division it is. You play harder against teams that you see twice a year, every year. I don't know. If the Packers are inconsistent like they have been on offense, it could spell trouble if the Vikings can keep themselves in this game towards the end, if the Packers haven't pulled away. The Packers are in major need to win these next 3 games that they play against the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions. All divisional opponents. If they can win those 3 games, they will be right there vying to win this division. If they drop a game or two, I think the division may be lost. Whether it be to the Bears because they're currently up, or whether it be to the Lions because they happen to figure something out with that team to get some more wins. The Packers, if they lose these next 3 by chance, I don't think they will. Obviously, I'm picking them to win this week, but if they lose these next 3 games, their playoff shot may be gone at this point in the NFC. So we'll have to keep an eye on the Packers, see what happens with these next 3 games, and keep an eye on where they sit in the playoffs. Now, speaking of the NFC, this is a NFC-AFC matchup here. Seahawks versus Titans. Seahawks offense is like scary good whenever Sam Darnold can remember what team he plays for, because he has a turnover problem a little bit, especially recently, but he has an elite offense sitting around him with JSN. He's got Cooper Kupp, Kenneth Walker, and Zach Charbonnet in the backfield are complementary of each other. Kenneth Walker's can have these, big explosive plays, and then Charbonnet is able to just punch it in the red zone. He's their power back. They also have AJ Barner and Torrey Horton, who are just touchdown machines so far this season, so they're reliable in the red zone as well. The Titans, on the other hand, struggling on all sides of the ball. Offense, defense, special teams is better than last year, but that's not hard to do considering where they were last year on special teams. Cam Ward has shown flashes that he can be good, but he has a very limited weaponry arsenal in his team. Calvin Ridley's out for the rest of the year. He's got, they had 3 or 4 receivers that felt like go down in the last game, and he just had no one else. He had no one to throw to. They ran out of receivers to have in the game. Seahawks. I'm going with the Seahawks on this one. Seahawks defenses look good, and I expect it to continue to look good against the Titans. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cam Ward have a couple of turnovers, whether it be a pick and a fumble, or 2 fumbles, or 2 picks. I think the Seahawks win this game handily and probably cover the spread. I think it's like 13.5 right now. I think they can cover. We'll see what happens. Next game on the docket, I think game of the week here, Colts versus Chiefs. The Colts are coming off a bye. They're currently second in the AFC behind the Broncos because of bye weeks and stuff like that. They take over the 1 seed again if they win this game. And in the same game, they're trying to knock the Chiefs further out of the playoffs, because who wants to play the Chiefs in the playoffs? Nobody. Even this year, when they're not looking like the same team that they have for the past, 7 years or so, they don't look the same. Jonathan Taylor has looked like an MVP so far this year. He's accounted for almost 1,400 yards, and he's got 17 total touchdowns, 15 rushing, 2 receiving. Kansas City is going to have an incredibly hard time to stop the Colts on offense, whether it be Daniel Jones dropping back to pass or whether it be just giving it to Jonathan Taylor. He can run for 200 yards in any game that he wants to, it feels like. I don't know what to tell the Chiefs to do here. The Colts defense is also top 5 in rush yards allowed this year. If they stop the Chiefs' run game and Patrick Mahomes has to drop back to pass, if they're able to get pressure on him because they stop the run game and he's having to pass the ball, Chiefs are in trouble. We've seen this year, Mahomes has not looked good under pressure this season. In one-score games, they're 0-5. I mean, if the Colts can even keep this close and have the ball at the end of the game, I think they walk into Arrowhead and they win. They win this game. I know the Chiefs are favored. I don't get it. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. The Chiefs are just trying to survive at this point to make the playoffs. They're trying to just get to the 7th seed at this point. They're sitting 9th currently in the AFC. A loss here drops them back under 500. 11 games into the season, that does not vie well for your playoff chances. So if Mahomes and Andy Reid want to have a shot at the Super Bowl this year, they've got to win the rest of their games for the most part this season. The division, out of reach. I mean, they lose the tiebreaker to the 3 wild cards that are in right now because they've lost to all 3 of them. The Bills, the Jags, and whoever the third team is. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. I don't have it with me right here. So yeah, my pick, the Colts. The Colts are going to win. They're coming off a bye. It's just there. It's right there in writing that they should win this game. Now, another AFC team that is on the outside looking in is the Ravens. The next game I have up here, Jets versus Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens. I don't know what the Jets are doing this year. Tyrod Taylor versus Lamar Jackson. Any sane person is going to say Lamar Jackson wins this game. I'm not going to spend too long on it. Lamar has the team on a 4-game win streak. One of those, obviously, thanks to Huntley. Lamar's only been back for 3 games. They're staring down the Steelers for first in the division. They're only 1 game back. And if they can win the division, they're in the playoffs. It doesn't matter what your record is. I know they're sitting at 5-5 or 6-5, something like that right now. The Jets traded 2 key defensive pieces, and you could tell the Ravens, I think they win this game behind Derrick Henry having a huge game and Lamar Jackson having an awesome game as well. Now, a game I'm not looking forward to talking about is this next one, Browns versus Raiders. I didn't want to pick a winner for this game because who does? Who wants either of these teams to win right now? That being said, I did pick a winner. I'm going with the Browns. I'm not going to spend long on this one either. I mean, they've both teams have struggled incredibly hard this season to just win. They're combined 4-16 right now. There's nothing good to talk about on either team except Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett has been an absolute game wrecker this season. He's sitting at 15 sacks, first in the league, and he's sitting on a team that's 2-8. Not going to make the playoffs. Definitely not winning the division. I don't know why he decided to stay. I think if I was him, I would have left that team and went to a team that has a chance to win something, because this team does not have anything capable of winning anywhere close to a playoff game. I will make the prediction right here, right now. Myles Garrett will have a strip sack or something along those lines that is either a scoop and score or it gives the Browns enough field position that they're able to go in and punch it in for a touchdown. And I think that's the difference in this game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring, boring game. I'm talking another 10-7, 7-6, something like that. Terrible game. Not going to be fun to watch. No one's going to watch this game considering it's happening at the same time as other games. Literally any other game is better than this one this week. My pick, though, is the Cleveland Browns. Next game on the docket, Jaguars versus Cardinals. The Jags have been another inconsistent team. I know I've probably used that word a lot so far in this episode, but that's the only word I can think of to describe some of these teams, and the Jags are one of them. They lost to the Texans 36-29 in an incredible fourth quarter collapse. They let the Texans score 26 points in the fourth quarter. And then they turn around and they beat the Chargers 35-6. You beat Justin Herbert by 29 points, but you lose to the Davis Mills-led Texans because you let them score 26 points in the fourth quarter alone. Now, the defense causes turnovers at a high rate. I think they lead the league in turnovers right now. The offense has explosive capabilities with ETN and Tootin in the backfield. They also traded for Jacoby Myers at the trade deadline, and he's already paid dividends in the couple games that he's played in. He's averaging about 50 yards a game, which isn't great, but it's something considering that Brian Thomas has been out, and they haven't had a ton of pieces on their offense so far this season that have been like, wow, this is a player that we need to keep on our team. I'm glad Jacoby Myers got a new start. I think he's going to help the Jags in keeping their division. What do I want to say here? Keeping the division somewhat competitive. I mean, the Colts look far and away to be the best team in the division, obviously. They look to be one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, if you want to go that far. The other thing, I just can't trust the Cardinals to score enough points to win the game. They have Marvin Harrison Jr. out, and you're coming off a game where Jacoby Brissett he now has the NFL record for the most completions in a game with 47, and they still only scored 22 points against the 49ers last week and lost. And that was against a beat-up 49ers defense. They couldn't score more than 22 points on 47 completions. It doesn't make sense. So give me the Jags to keep the division interesting and to hold their spot in the wild card right now. Another game that it could be ugly, it could be good. We'll see. Eagles versus Cowboys. I'm going to pick the Eagles here. You have to think the Eagles offense will figure it out at some point, and why not do it against the best or the worst, not best, definitely not best, worst defense in the league with the Cowboys. The Eagles are on a 4-game win streak, but they've only scored 26 points in the last 2 games combined. It's not great. 13 points a game is not going to win you very many games. The defense for them has woken up and been lights out for those last 2 games. That's why they've won them, only scoring 13 points a game. Jalen Phillips, they traded for him at the deadline. He has been a game wrecker since he's gotten there. He has been one of the best players on their team in those 2 games, if not the best player. And then on the other side, the Cowboys do have the weapons to, make some noise on offense with Pickens and Lamb and Javonte and Ferguson, all at Dak's disposal. But he has to be on his A game to win this game because his defense is going to let him down. You can smell it from a mile away. The defense is going to let Dak Prescott down. He's going to have to score 40 points to win this game probably. But give me the Eagles. Next game up, Falcons versus Saints. This game, at first glance, you're like, oh my God, who's going to watch this game? So, obviously, Michael Penix is out for the rest of the season. He's having surgery on his knee. Kirk Cousins is stepping back into the spotlight for the first time this season in a while. He's going to face an uphill battle this week. He's not going to have his number one receiver, Drake London, this week. Possibly a little bit longer, but that remains to be seen at this point. If you ask most people, they would tell you the Saints have had by far the worst season out of these two teams. But in reality, the Saints are only one game behind the Falcons. The Falcons are 3-7. The Saints are 2-8. This game has the potential to be really good, or it could be terrible, depending on what teams show up. The Saints have shown flashes with Tyler Shuck at quarterback. Falcons, on the other hand, you're losing Penix, but you got Kirk, who has experience. You still have receivers. You still have Kyle Pitts. You still have Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier in the backfield. This could be a high-scoring game. This could be a 9-7 game. We'll see. I'm going to go with the Falcons on this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong with any of these games because I'm not an expert. I do this for fun. Anyway, both defenses are pretty evenly matched as far as yards per game that they're allowing. So this game has potential to be close the whole time, and it can actually be fairly entertaining for anybody who decides to watch this game. It is in the late window for some reason. Both teams are in the east of the country, so I'm not sure why this game is in the late window with the Jags, Cardinals, Eagles, Cowboys, and I think Browns, Raiders may also be in the late window. That will not be the game that I picked to watch. That's just me. We'll move on to the Sunday Night Football game with that. Sunday Night Football, Buccaneers at Rams. Now, if you asked me a month ago what I thought of this game, I'd tell you game of the week, easily. No shot that any game is better than this one. But the Bucs have struggled recently on defense. They've given up a lot of points. They've kind of fallen off. But the Rams, on the other hand, the Rams defense has come to life. And in the last 4 to 5 weeks, they have really stepped it up compared to the beginning of the season. Matthew Stafford has looked like the MVP. I said that in my last video on Wednesday. He looks like the MVP. He's got my vote right now. The Bucs are on a 2-game skid. They've lost 3 of their last 4, and the only win that they have in those 4 games is against the Saints, who we just talked about. They're 2-8. So, not very impressive. They only scored 23 points in that game as well. I know their offense has not been to its full capability this season at all. They've either been missing Chris Godwin or Mike Evans or Bucky Irving or Emeka Egbuka. They haven't had all of their weapons available in one game yet this season that I'm aware of. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they haven't all played in the same game yet this season. The Rams offense, on the other hand, you have Puka Nacua, you have Devontae Adams, you have Kyron Williams. Devontae Adams has been a touchdown machine this year. He's averaging a touchdown every 4.3 catches this season. He has 10 touchdowns on 43 catches. That is crazy. Most of them coming in the red zone. He's the go-to guy in the end zone. Corner fade route, Devontae Adams. Quick slant in the end zone, Devontae Adams. You want to go out on the flat, Devontae Adams. It doesn't matter. He will be there. He will catch it. He will get the touchdown. That is that. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing you can do about it at this point. He's got that savvy veteran energy that Matthew Stafford needs while currently developing Puka Nacua to be just like that when he's a veteran in the league. I think the Rams win this game pretty easily, if I'm being completely honest. I think the Rams probably win this game by 10 points. I don't think the Bucs have a shot. Not without having all of their offensive weapons and their defense finally deciding to step up. And that brings us to the final game of the week. Monday Night Football on ESPN. The Panthers go to San Francisco to face the 49ers. I really wanted to pick the Panthers here. The 49ers offense has been so good as of late. They got Brock Purdy back. CMC is just doing CMC things. He stayed healthy this season. I'm happy for him. Finally being able to stay healthy. He has looked great. I will say, Bryce Young has looked good recently. If he's able to continue how he has looked recently up for this game against a depleted 49ers defense, they can keep this game close. He's got Rico Dowdle. He's got Ted McMillan. Chuba Hubbard is also out there. They have a chance to make this game interesting and potentially get the upset if their defense can get a couple of stops when they need to. I don't think it'll happen. We'll see. Like I said, Brock Purdy is back. It looks like he didn't miss any time. He looked great in his first game back. Don't sleep on the 49ers to come for the division at the end of the season. If they can keep winning, they're right up there with the Seahawks and the Rams. The only team in that division that doesn't have a shot, just like normal, as of the last, few years. The Cardinals are way, way down compared to the rest of the teams in that division. So I'm going with the 49ers here, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers can keep it close. So that was the last game of the week, guys. If you have any thoughts, you think I'm dead wrong on something, or if you think I nailed something spot on, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like and comment, subscribe to this video. I'll be back on Monday with a recap of all the Sunday games, and we'll take a little bit deeper dive into Monday Night Football on Monday itself. So, thank you guys for tuning in and watching and listening to me spew nonsense and say a lot, stuff like that, while I still get back into the rhythm of doing this whole podcast thing. But I'll see you guys on Monday. Enjoy your weekend.